So I was really considering putting on makeup to film this video, but then I was like, no, the chances are high that you're also watching this maybe in your PJs with no makeup on. But hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I want to talk about how to adjust being at home when you come back from study abroad. This is something, you know, everyone goes through. This is something everyone goes through when you come back from study abroad. But I know I can't talk today. You know, I know a lot of you girls had to come back from study abroad maybe earlier than you wanted, and now you're at home and you're like, yeah, this is not really how I imagined my 2020 to go. This is just not ideal. And so I really wanted to give you a few tips on how you can deal with the situation and how you can really turn around your bad mood and make most of being at home, because this is something that I've gone through before, right? I've been studying abroad for 4 years now. However, always over summer I used to go home for an extended period of time, so we'd have summer break for like 3 or 4 months, right? So I would always go back for a very long time, and then for me it was quite hard to kind of adjust again being at home, because I felt like abroad I just grew into like such a different person, and then when I would come home it was like I was put back into my box. I didn't really feel like I belonged there anymore. So if you're feeling similarly, then I really hope that those tips are gonna help you. I also made a video about like 2 years ago about the post-study abroad depression with some additional tips as well, so feel free to watch this video after you finish this one. Also, before we get started with the tips, I wanted to let you know that I created a special discount code for my ebook Girls Study Abroad, which is the discount code HOME, and feel free to use that if you're interested in some more tips, some more advice on how to deal with coming back from study abroad, because I go a lot more in depth into that whole topic in my Girls Study Abroad ebook. So feel free to check it out. The link to learn more about the ebook is down below in the description box. Okay, so tip number 1 is to let it out. And it's actually quite funny that I say this and that I use this as my first tip, because I'm usually a person, I'm like, I don't want to rant, I don't want to, you know, let out my negative emotions, because that's just gonna make the whole situation more negative, and I should just be able to, you know, deal with my emotions myself, and I shouldn't have to do all of this. But I especially recently learned that you're just human and you're allowed to be emotional. You're allowed to scream, to say, oh my god, I'm so tired of this, I'm done with this, this is not how I imagined 2020 to be, why is this happening to me? You are allowed to lay down on the floor, cry, scream, shout, punch, just not someone else. You're allowed to feel angry, you're allowed to feel sad, you're allowed to feel all of this. So if you haven't yet, scream, cry, do all of this. And then what I would also recommend you to do is to journal about it. So my coach Tiasha gave us a journaling prompt, which is, I'm so tired of, or I'm so done with. And I know this is something very personal to share, but I just want to let you into something that I wrote down on this topic, just to kind of, you know, give you an idea that I'm also just human, right? And I also deal with all of those things. So what I wrote down: I have enough of my fucking goddamn mood swings and victim mentality that is destroying my happiness, my future, and my relationship. This crisis, this government is screwing up my life right now, and I'm so sick of having to hold back. I want to scream, I want to punch, I don't want to be perfect anymore. I'm done with being strong. I'm sick of myself and my awful, disgusting behavior. I have enough of showing up for others and still not feeling good enough. I don't want this to be my life right now, and I don't want this to be my reality. I want to be free and travel. I want to be flexible and have things to look forward to. I want to be happy and excited every day. I want freedom and goals and my life how I envisioned it and planned it. So let it all out, guys. Let it all out. Also, my hair is just like, yeah, I'm just not yeah, camera ready today, but that's not what it is about, right? The second tip I have for you is to kind of, after you've let everything out, keep your journal and reflect upon all the lessons you've learned when you went to study abroad, right? I've filmed tons of videos about the lessons that I've learned from study abroad. Even if you had to come home early and you maybe couldn't do the full period of study abroad, and there's still so many things that you've learned. And I think even from like the whole process now of coming home and having to deal with all of this is teaching you so much, right? So maybe you can do a little exercise and compare the past version of you, the pre-study abroad, and now the post-study abroad version of yourself, and really, celebrate and write down the lessons you've learned and really see how much you've grown, right? Because you're probably in the mindset like, oh my gosh, this had like no sense, this is so useless, and I could have gotten so much more out of this, and blah blah blah. You have already gotten so much out of it, and you have learned the lessons you were supposed to learn. So it's about recognizing that and now using this time to reflect and to be proud of yourself, right? And to be proud of how you're dealing with all of this, and to really think, okay, what is this actually teaching me, and how are those lessons going to help me in the future? The third piece of advice that I have for you, and this is such a big one: don't try to change the people around you, right? So you might be coming home to your old friends, to your maybe a bit narrow-minded family, and you might, especially now, have to spend a lot of time with them. So when you are used to living abroad by yourself, surrounded by new people, it's like, yeah, well, I know better now, right? And I learned all of this abroad, and what you are doing and your mindset and this is wrong, so change it. Don't try to do that. And I know you want to do that. I'm always like, just want to help everyone. I want to improve everyone, because, I think what works for me works for everyone else, right? However, the only thing you can really do is to live by example, right? And to show people, how you've grown, and maybe they, take you as a role model and they will implement, but even that will take time. I know it's hard, but don't spend too much energy trying to change the people around you, and focus that energy more on changing and improving yourself. The fourth tip I have is to schedule in calls with your friends from study abroad, and to catch up with them, and to, talk about what you're feeling with them, because you are not alone, right? And this is also the fifth tip that I have for you, is to generally just share your emotions, right? And share how you're feeling. And maybe you want to write it out in your journal, but also feel free to reach out to a trusted friend, a trusted family member, or also, connect online, right? We can be so grateful that in times like this, we have social media to connect. And there are so many amazing places and spaces, safe spaces online, where you can share your emotions and your feelings, what you're struggling with, and you can connect with like-minded people, right? Like my Girls Study Abroad Facebook group, which, by the way, if you have not joined yet, feel free to do so. The link is down below in the description box. It's a completely free community for girls all around the world who are studying abroad. And right now, there are so many girls in there who are obviously impacted by this crisis in terms of their study abroad programs and study abroad adventures. So honestly, if you need a place or a space to connect with people, to talk about your struggles, to get advice, then feel free to join us. We're over 1,100 members now from all around the world, which is just amazing. I think it's just so important to share how we are feeling, because then we realize that we're actually not alone with those emotions. And sometimes I know at home maybe the people won't really be able to understand you, so it's important to connect with like-minded people, and social media is giving us exactly that. The sixth piece of advice that I have for you, and this is kind of like a little exercise, I want you to take out a piece of paper, or take your journal again, and I want you to write on the one side of the piece of paper a typical day in the life of you studying abroad. Not like a, day where you went like on a big trip or something, like a typical day in the life when you went to uni, or when you had a part-time job, or whatever you did abroad. Go through a typical day, right? What did you do in the morning? When did you wake up? What did you have to eat? What's your morning routine? What did you do all day? What did you do in the evenings? And all of those things. Like, write out a typical schedule day in the life of studying abroad, and then write out your current schedule or typical day in the life at home. And then I want you to think about, okay, how can I do more of the things that I did studying abroad back at home? And of course, I realized that, a lot of the things you won't be able to do at home, right? That's why you're struggling. You're like, yeah, well, Laura, if I could just do everything I did abroad back home, I wouldn't be watching this video. I want you to think a little bit more and really, really be creative. Like, for example, what I miss right now, I'm still abroad, but I still can't really live the study abroad experience that I am usually living. Because I love going out to restaurants and coffee shops. Obviously right now I can't do that. And so what I've been doing is I've been getting super creative with, baking cakes, right? Or trying out new recipes, recreating meals that I usually have in different restaurants, right? Or when you went abroad and you had like certain meals like in the culture, like recreate that at home, get super creative, or have your coffee in a more special way, or whatever it is, right? Maybe abroad you really got into a certain like workout routine, like continue doing that workout routine at home. Think about how can I kind of live a similar lifestyle that I did studying abroad, right? Because I've mentioned it a lot in my videos, but what makes us really happy when we study abroad is, what we do on a daily basis. Yes, it's the really cool travel experiences, but it's also just who we are on a daily basis, how we feel on a daily basis. And this exercise really is about bringing that to you now and realizing that actually you can feel like you felt studying abroad at home if you just really get creative with the ways to do so. The seventh piece of advice is also a little exercise. So I want you to write down your high vibe and low vibe list. So again, take out a piece of paper or a journal, and on the one side of the page write down your high vibes, and on the other side of the page your low vibes. What that basically means is I want you to really think about, okay, what makes me happy every day and what drains my energy? So literally, if you're like having a really hard time right now and you're like, honestly, Laura, I just feel shit all the time and I don't know. Well, think about the coffee you have in the morning maybe, or, that you have a beautiful journal to write into, or that you can spend now time more with your family, or, that you have food, that you have a home, or, watching your favorite movies or series or puzzling or whatever it is. Write it on the high vibe list. Also write down, maybe you have, you love talking to your friends from study abroad on the phone, that is making you really happy, or you love connecting in online communities, that makes you feel really good. Write down what makes you feel high vibe, so excited and energized and motivated and content, happy, all of those feelings. And then on the low vibe list, write down everything that kind of drains you, that makes you feel unproductive or not good enough or just not content with life, dissatisfied. Maybe that is scrolling too much on social media or comparing to your life now to how it was, a month ago, or thinking too much about the goals that you had that you can't really now, or you think you can't pursue anymore, or talking too much with negative people, consuming the news, whatever it is, right? Really think about what doesn't make me happy, and then think about, okay, how can I maximize what makes me happy, and how can I minimize what doesn't make me happy? And I want you to take at least one action step today on both the positive and the negative, and I want you to focus on one thing that you can do more of, and I want you to focus on one negative thing that you can do less of. And I want you to comment that down below. So please feel free to maybe even pause the video now, do the exercise, and come back to the video and comment down below, because I really want to know what you're gonna focus on. And last but not least, and this is a very, very important one, is to take responsibility for your own happiness. And you're probably gonna wanna punch me in my face right now, because you're like, Laura, you have no effing idea what you're talking about. My situation is so shit, you have no idea. There's no reason for me to be happy right now. I feel like crap, and as I said, that's totally fine. And you're also not going to be able to pull yourself out of your bad moods constantly. Like, honestly, I've been struggling with that so much lately. I've been in a bad mood like almost daily, which is like not the way I am usually, right? But I'm, working on it. I'm becoming aware of it, and I think awareness is key. Awareness is really the first step. But I want you to know one thing. Study abroad wasn't what made you happy. What made you happy was the person you were studying abroad, right? The person you became. The feelings you felt when you pushed yourself outside your comfort zone, when you overcame challenges, when you really stepped into the person that you want to be. And the truth is that no crisis and coming home and no one else can take that away from you. You are right now still that person. And I want you to step into that person again, because it's within you. No one can take your growth away from you. Even if you feel like now you're pushed back into your old self, into your old life, and everything sucks, that is not the truth. The truth is that you have become an absolutely amazing person, and you can be so proud of that. Just like no one can take away your dreams from you, your plans from you, your goals from you. Yes, maybe things might have now been postponed, right? My graduation got cancelled. I mean, that's also not really cool. My partner and I, we want to travel starting in a few weeks, technically. Who knows if we can do that? Your dreams are still valid. I want you to trust that it will be okay, right? Because us humans, we always grow, we always evolve from every single challenge. We learn, we rise from it. And I truly believe that this right now is challenging us. It's testing us on what we truly want in life. Because everything we now forget, everything that now falls behind, we never wanted in the first place. Can we just all take a deep breath in right now? And out. It's gonna be fine. If you found this video helpful, then you will love my Girl Study Abroad ebook, and I really want to enable you to get your hands on it, because it is really gonna help you to deal with that, everything that comes post study abroad, because I put everything that I know and how I dealt with it in a lot more detail into that ebook. So if you use the discount code HOME at checkout, you can get 10% off, and I will link it down below in the description box so you can learn more about it if you're interested. But thank you so much for watching this video. I'm sending out so much love to you. If you have anything that you want to share down below in the comments, feel free. There are so many women all around the world who are exactly where you're at right now. I love you so much. I'm sending you all the positive vibes, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.